Yes, indeed. You know what it is. It's Ringside Report MMA. We're right here on the Ringside Report Network, and tonight we're previewing UFC 305.
Let's go!
Yes, we are. That's what we're doing here. That is the business at hand. Everybody is here. Fred is here. AJ is here. The whole team is in the house because we have serious business to discuss. It's UFC 305. It's Dricus du Plessis. It's Israel Adesanya. It's the UFC Middleweight Championship of the World. Saturday night. I like it. This is a big fight, guys. I'm excited. Right off the bat, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for the fight. I'm hyped to talk about this fight. I'm hyped to see this fight. It's going to take place. This is years in the making. Some personal beef. Two of the best in the world, the very best in the world at middleweight. Oof. If you're an MMA fan for real, it doesn't get much better than Dricus versus Adesanya. What just happened?
Damn, that looks good.
What just happened?
I'm not sure.
But she looks good.
What's happening?
What's up, Dingle Dog? What's going on over there?
Did we kill that? What's the deal? I don't know. We had a glitch in the Matrix. I blame AJ. He's responsible for all the glitches on this program.
Oof, I'm surprised I'm still on.
I'm surprised
it
you're
was a
still
rough
on
start.
too. AJ was barely hanging on with his internet connection before the show, and now he seems somewhat solid. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that AJ stays with us. As every week now, it seems to be like an ongoing issue. AJ just
like
doesn't have proper internet. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
It's weird, man. It's the hackers.
Yeah. So we've
Just
got
like
big business, big fights. What?
I was gonna say, like they tried to knock out Elon Musk and Trump. The same thing, man. If they could do it to them, they could do it to us, man.
Billion views. A billion views,
Dave.
Saying.
I'm glad Harris got a couple of thousand, so it's good. It's good. It's close.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know why
Maybe
we're
it's that
talking
shit
about
that we're saying. That's why we're probably getting hacked.
The things you're saying, AJ, I should hack you for all the nonsense.
Hey, talk about hack or hack 2. I don't know if you saw what Johnny sent us. Did you see what he sent us? That whole baseball thing with the Hawk 2 girl throwing out the first ball for the Mets, the mighty Mets.
I didn't see that.
It would have been amazing if it was the Yankees, but hey, man, I can live with the Mets.
They're the Mets.
Hawk
They'll
2.
try anything. Grimace won them a bunch of games. Grimace threw out the first pitch, then they went on like an 8-game win streak afterwards. Grimace
He's still
from
around
McDonald's.
the Grimace. Jesus,
yeah, man, he's made a comeback. He's big. Grimace is a big deal. But I don't know that Haku girl. I don't care about Haku girl.
The only baseball news I read is that some Red Sox players sold a bunch of jerseys this week.
I didn't see that.
What?
I don't care about the Red Sox. They're irrelevant. I don't pay attention to anything they do.
Not the
what
Johnny.
Happened? What happened?
We can't talk about it.
We can't talk about it.
Freddie, you can't do that, man.
Well, did they have a baseball player that got fined for yelling an obscenity?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Oh yeah,
well,
yeah.
That guy after that became the highest. His jersey became the highest sold jersey on MLB.com.
No
but
way,
isn't
man.
he
That's
just
crazy.
one of their good players though? Don't they just like him and maybe they're supporting him because whatever they like him, or maybe that's just Boston Red Sox fans. tells you all you need to know about Boston Red Sox fans and why I am not one of them.
Maybe it's just America supporting an American.
Maybe it's Boston Red Sox fans being classless fans chanting Yankees suck for no reason. You never hear Yankees fans chanting Red Sox suck because we don't care. We don't care about the Red Sox. Last team to integrate in baseball. Red Sox are a shameful organization. They're the worst.
You see, before the show started, I went on ESPN to check, and the Yankees aren't even playing, so
nope.
It's unfortunate. Can't really have fun with you.
Yeah, you can't say much. They won last night big time. Aaron Judge became the fastest player to ever reach 300 home runs in the history of baseball. He did it in fewer games than anybody in the history of the game. 300 home runs last night.
Jesus.
No steroids. The guy's just naturally gigantic and strong.
He's not like Mark McGuire, man.
He's the best.
He's not like Barry Bonds. Come on, Dave.
Aaron Judge is the best. He's better than those guys because he's doing it legit.
Jose Canseco, come on, don't come close to that. Let's be honest.
Well, you clearly don't know shit about baseball, and you're not a real baseball fan because Aaron Judge is better than all those guys, including Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds. Yeah, he is.
That is ridiculous.
He is. Aaron Judge is the best player I've ever seen. When it's all said and done, the records that Aaron Judge will have set in baseball will eclipse the records of pretty much everybody. If he continues on the pace,
Barry Bonds had a season where he had like 230 bases on balls. Nobody wanted to face him.
Nobody wants to face Judge either.
Not at that point.
Nobody wants to face Judge either. Actually, last night, because Soto has been so hot, Soto hit 3 home runs in one game a couple nights ago against the White Sox, who are the worst team in baseball and one of the worst teams of all time. They're horrible, the White Sox this year.
But
they're the worst team in baseball by record, and by record, they're one of the worst teams ever. So they're very bad.
Not when they had Andre Dawson.
Soto hit 3 home runs. That's the Cubs you're thinking of, not the White Sox.
Was it the Cubs? I thought he went to the White Sox.
Or I was going to say you're thinking of Tim Raines, one or the other.
Tim Raines, that's it. Sorry about that.
No, that's not who he was. Don't save him, Fred.
Nah, it was right. I knew it was an
it's not
better.
It was
Tim Raines.
Like, he's wrong either way.
Yeah, he's wrong either way. Yeah, so they walked Soto last night because he's been so hot. And they walked Soto to face Judge, and then Judge hit a 3-run homer. That was his 300th of his career.
Oof! Did you see Johnny's comment?
Who cares, man? Johnny's a Red Sox fan.
That says it all, man.
He's one of the deplorables.
Listen, even Jeter admits they're not going to win the World Series. What kind of Barry Bonds would never say that shit?
Jeter's only saying that because he challenges the Yankees. He challenges them.
I think it's like
who's Jeter picking? The Phillies?
I'm gonna drop on my knees, man.
Who's Jeter picking? The Phillies?
I don't know. I didn't
because the Yankees went to Philadelphia and they took all 3 games, my friend. So take it easy. I love Derek Jeter, but my captain is Aaron Judge. That's the current captain.
Based on my 2 minutes of looking at the standings, the Orioles, the Cleveland Guardians, and the LA Dodgers are probably better than the Yankees.
The Orioles and the Yankees are tied. It's very close. And Johnny's telling me that Jeter said the Orioles are going to win the World Series, and that is not a bad pick at all. Like, okay, I can't say anything bad. I don't want to say anything bad about Jeter. He's the best. But, man, yeah, the Orioles are really good. The fact that the Yankees are so good and they keep winning, and they have one of the best records in all of baseball, and they're not in first place by a mile is crazy. And it's only because the Orioles are right there with them. The Orioles are very good, and the Yankees have had a hard time playing them this year. But they probably won't face them right away in the playoffs, and maybe they'll get bounced, and the Yankees won't.
Suck.
You saying the Yankees suck? See, everybody wants to hate on the Yankees. But, man, when they win the World Series, it makes it that much sweeter because everybody that's hating. Everybody that's hating has to eat their words.
Kind of like Trump, Dave. Now you know how Trump feels.
Look, it happens often enough, okay?
And
it's going to happen again. Judge needs one.
Wait, when is the last Yankee championship? Because I'm wondering if it was Obama or W. Bush that was the president the last time that it might go all the way back to Bush.
Well, yeah. No, hold on. 2009.
Okay,
it was
that's an Obama. Yeah, that's an Obama year. All right.
Yeah. See, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Obama, all great presidents. They had Yankees World Series within their presidential reigns. Donald Trump, garbage president, no Yankees World Series, total embarrassment. A New Yorker without a World Series for the Yankees. What a failure as a president. What a failure. Joe Biden as well, big time failure. Well, so far, maybe Sleepy Joe can deliver one at the end of his term, right at the end, slip a Yankees World Series in there, and join the ranks of great presidents. Minus Trump, who didn't give us a Yankees World Series win. And that, to me, is why I vote. I vote for the president who's going to give me a Yankees World Series victory when I do vote in American elections.
I love how you called him Sleepy Joe. Like even his supporters
I'm a
are
big
now
supporter.
agreeing that like he's just not in it. You know, mentally he's pretty out of
His
it.
supporters. How dare you?
And
How dare you,
yeah,
bro?
so
You know
what-
me.
the question that comes to my head now is like, why isn't anybody talking about that fact that we got like somebody that's like completely out of it, that's the president of the United States? Forget about the next election. What about the next 4 months, man? How the fuck is he able to lead the country?
He's having his double chocolate chip. Don't worry, Freddie. He's doing something.
It's not a bad point. If you're not fit enough to run, how come you're still fit enough to run the country?
For the next 4 months.
Listen, man. Listen, most red states knew that like about 3.5 years ago.
All right,
but
bro.
hey, never too late, bud.
Chill, AJ, chill, chill. Yo, it's Kamala time, bro. It's
All right,
happening.
man. MMA.
Somebody, Johnny's
ADCC.
getting you there.
Can we? ADCC,
CJI.
you want to talk about their stupid narrator? Well, I'm not going to blame
What
the
happened
narrator.
there?
I'm going to blame the script writer and the editor for their terrible job of doing that countdown.
Did they get a
show.
Brazilian to translate English?
I don't know what they did, man. I think they just found a guy who thought he was smart, who could use big words, but he didn't know what they meant. And
What was up with all that deal?
the guys like Gordon Ryan and Felipe Pena have been inexplicably linked since their bout back then. And I was like, wait a second. Inexplicably linked? You mean inextricably linked, motherfucker. They botched the word. They tried to sound smart, but they sounded mad stupid on their countdown show. And I was like, I'm out of this ADCC countdown show. I stopped watching immediately.
Didn't read it well, man. You know, some people don't have great reading skills, man.
Yo, say a retake
on,
then.
man.
You retake. You go, it's not inexplicably, it's inextricably, sir. Mr. Narrator, can you do
Still
a
gonna be a
retake? Because
great
you said the
match.
word wrong and it's going to make us look dumb.
Still gonna be a great match.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be cool. I just thought that the countdown show was garbage. I was like, what the hell? How did they do that? I start laughing. Anyways, Gordon Ryan
When
and
was that?
Felipe Pena. Who
Yesterday?
you got, Fred? You were telling me you think Gordon's going to lose this weekend in jiu-jitsu?
I got
Against
Felipe
Pena?
Pena.
Whoa.
I got Felipe Pena going 3-1 over against Gordon because he's already 2-1. So he's beaten
That's
him
true.
twice already. Let's
That's
not
true.
forget that. And
When?
Felipe Pena, a couple of years ago, but he beat him in ADCC in the absolute finals a couple of years ago, man.
Mm.
I mean, he's beaten him on the big stage, man.
On
and
points,
Felipe,
though?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was by points.
What's this going to be?
It's
Points?
probably going to be by points again, man. Felipe Pena is a big guy, man. No, look, Gordon should win. He'll probably win because also Felipe, he's going to be competing in the division, so he'll have 2 match earlier that day, whereas
Oh.
Gordon will be fresh. That might
That's not
affect
fair.
it a little bit, but
Yeah.
hey, I'm intrigued, man. That's going to be great, man. ADCC, man, the tournaments, 2-day, and plus CGI. So, like, on Friday, there's CGI. On Saturday, then there's ADCC in the afternoon. At night, at 8 p.m., there's CGI. Then at 10 p.m., there's the pay-per-view, UFC, what is it, 306?
305.
305.
305. And then Sunday, some more ADCC, man. It's a weekend of fucking martial arts, man. Everybody
Yeah.
should be hyped for this.
Any
Yeah.
Canadians in there, Fred?
Bunch of them. Brianna's there.
Oh, Brianna St.
Olivier
Marie.
Taza.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So Brianna St. Marie
Taza,
actually
Brianna St. Marie.
Listen,
DeAndre
man, I'm going to tell you
Corbray.
something.
Ethan
had an opportunity-
Krellinston.
I had an opportunity to roll with Brianna when she was like young, man, and this girl was just so phenomenal. And her dad, like, you know, Mark, like, who's a teammate of mine, we went up the ranks pretty much together. The dad is like a beast, man, and Brianna is like, it's incredible, man. No matter who she fights, guys,
Yeah.
girls, whatever, she's incredible. And like right
We
now,
should-
like, you know, she was ranked like the second best female grappler in the world.
That's it.
You
We
know?
should clarify, Fred, for those that don't know, because people, we talk about UFC, everybody knows what that is. ADCC, what is that? Because I know it's right. We all know ADCC. We hear the name, but there's this tournament, that tournament. What is happening this weekend? This is the big one.
Well, ADCC is pretty much the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu. It happens every 2 years. And the way, so basically ADCC on the men's side has 5 weight classes. On the female side this year, they're up to 3 weight classes. And the way you qualify for ADCC is by participating in one of their trials events that goes around all over the world. There's 8 of them. So you got 8 trials winner. Then you get also some people that get invited because it's 16 fighters per field. It's a bracket you need 4 wins to win the championship and over 2 days. So it's the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu, man. This year CGI, that's the Craig Jones Invitational. They're throwing a little bit of a wrench. Craig Jones has an issue with ADCC and their fight pay scale.
Welcome.
Feels like the money in ADCC has not gotten up, but the revenues definitely have gone up. So he decided to organize with some financial backing from who knows who, but somebody that has a lot of millions to lose to
Connor.
just give away.
Yeah,
And,
why is it so mysterious about where he's getting his money from? That's a weird one about this tournament that he's doing.
I don't know, but he's doing 2 tournaments, over 80 kilograms and under 80 kilograms, and each tournament is for $1 million. So a lot of guys that were supposed to do,
man.
yeah, a lot of guys that were supposed to do ADCC ended up going to CGI. But as a fan, like I say, it's going to be CGI is on Friday, Saturday, and ADCC is Saturday, Sunday. And there's just barely a little bit of overlap. Like they're planning to have Gordon Ryan fighting on Saturday at 8 p.m., which is the time, and he's going to be the main event of ADCC. And it's the time that CGI starts on Saturday. So there's barely any overlap. Any fan of jiu-jitsu should be hyped for both events. There's going to be a bunch of great competitors. It's going to be fun, man. Enjoy it, man.
But it
And
is
think
like
about
a
it, Fred.
controversial deal, the Craig Jones Invitational, because they're going right up against ADCC on ADCC weekend in the same city. They're both doing their shows in Las Vegas, and they're trying to take athletes, and you can't do both. So there's,
Yeah, there's a bit of rivalry there.
AJ,
no
you
doubt
got to
about
talk
it.
more into your microphone. You're off mic.
But I was gonna say, when you think about it, like there's $1 million purse, in payouts. I mean, there's more money to make out of like the tournament than the UFC at this point. I mean, it's insane, and that just goes to show you the level
Yeah,
of
but is it
jiu-jitsu.
viable?
I mean, you could.
That's because somebody is willing to lose a bunch of millions. That's why. Look, I'm all good. Like people are all hyped for Craig Jones. They're like, oh yeah, Craig Jones paying fighters, and it's great. I'm happy. I want guys to make money, but is it a viable business model? Is there really going to be somebody every 2 years that's going to be willing to lose $3-4 million? Because you got to think of the cost of putting up the event, whether it's hotel rooms, etc.
It's Vegas, man. I mean, there's a lot of disposable money. There's a lot of
money
dirty
to lose
money that
every
needs
2
to be
years.
cleaned up. Sure, there's a lot, but there's going to be a lot of advertisement and whatnot. There's going to be something.
It could be Zuckerberg though.
Yeah,
it could
be
be
if
Mark
it's somebody.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's somebody like that, it could be.
if it's somebody like that, it could go on forever. Because really,
Absolutely.
Yes.
$1 million or $2 million for him
It's nothing. It's dropping the
not
bucket,
making
man.
a difference. And he's a
And
guy
we're-
who's super into jiu-jitsu, and I can see
he's
him
looking amazing,
wanting to invest in something like that. Like if you were Mark Zuckerberg and all of a sudden you're super into jiu-jitsu and you start training with some of these high-level guys and they tell you the problems with the business of jiu-jitsu, you might be like, well, I could help that. But I don't want to tell the Facebook people. I don't want it to be public because then it becomes Mark Zuckerberg's lead. Then it's a whole thing. You just give him some
Right.
money, and then that's why it's being kept so quiet. If I
Makes
were to
sense.
guess who's behind the Craig Jones thing, I would guess Zuckerberg or somebody, I don't know, in that realm.
But they train
I
together.
wouldn't put it past this tournament to be bankrolled at least by Zuckerberg because he seems
But
really
Dave, don't they
into
train
it,
together?
and he's around the space. He's around these guys.
Yes, they do.
I know he was
Exactly.
around Volkanovski, and Volkanovski's with Craig Jones.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of adds up.
Where,
if I
where
were
I'm
to
gonna
guess.
give props, where I'm gonna give props to Craig Jones because he says his goal is to help jiu-jitsu grow and all that. And I'm not sure he's helping it by putting it the same weekend as ADCC. He could have made it another weekend and, help the sport more. But I'll give him props is that he's putting it for free on YouTube. And that's going to expose the sport to more views than anything else. Because some people complain a little bit of the price for ADCC on Flow Grappling and all that. And there's some truth to that. Like if you look back at what made the UFC popular was getting on free TV with The Ultimate Fighter.
True.
And the same way for jiu-jitsu to grow, it needs to be viewed by people that don't have to pay. Because like if you're not a fan of something, why would you pay to watch it? So, you got to give your product for free at some point for people to watch it and for it to grow. So I'll give him a props for that.
Yeah. I'm tuning in for Craig Jones versus Gabby Garcia. That's the match for me, bro. I can't wait.
Mother's milk. I don't care who does it. That's my prediction.
That's the best. That's the best. Oh,
But,
yeah.
like-
So
like,
it's a big
looking back
weekend,
at-
man. Big jiu-jitsu
Dave.
weekend. Big UFC weekend.
But I was gonna say with
good.
Mark Zuckerberg, man, he's looking good. Like we're talking about him, and I'm pretty sure I agree with you. I think you made a strong point, and I believe that maybe he's the
It's just a guess.
the guy behind the wall. But it's a great guess. But I'm gonna tell you, when you look at him like physically, and you look at him like he's at the UFC now, and he's done a lot of things. I mean, this guy is looking good. And if you look at like the early days of jiu-jitsu gyms, a lot of gyms were supported by some of the athletes that were training with coaches that had money and helped some teams grow a lot quicker than they can. And, it would make sense with like a jiu-jitsu tournament that if something is being rolled in by someone with big bucks, somebody like a Zuckerberg who's involved in the sport, why wouldn't you do it? If I was him, I would do it. And we've seen that like over the years, just like I said, some athletes training with coaches that have opened up numerous gyms across Montreal, across Canada, and across the United States.
Yeah.
So it's kind of makes sense that that's the next step of this sport. And I think Fred was absolutely right. If you keep it free, you really bring in a new audience, man. And you bring in a lot of people that are just curious to see what jiu-jitsu is all about. And that's how you spark interest. I think that's a fantastic move. And I think he's actually going head to head. I think he's trying to make a statement, and that's a pretty big statement. But you know what? If it's going to be a jiu-jitsu, I think it's actually a good move. Why? Because you're going to have a whole jiu-jitsu crowd on that day watching different matches on two different networks. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see, and I'm definitely going to be watching that Craig Jones thing, and I'll try and catch what I can from the ADCC. But
Let's go,
behind
Brianna.
that paywall, man, is very expensive, bro.
BTT,
I mean, it's
baby.
worth it. It's good. It's a good product, but man, Flow Grappling, you got to cut some slack on that. It's a lot. Johnny North in the chat, could your loser Red Sox pull themselves together and beat the Baltimore Orioles tonight? Like, is that too much to ask? Because the Red Sox are losing 4-1 to the Orioles, and I'd much rather the Red Sox win than the Orioles because, the Yankees are in a race with them for first place. They're in a dead heat. It's a tie. Yanks are half a game up, but if the Orioles win tonight, it would be tied. So could the Red Sox win tonight, John, or what? Like, losers. Loser Red Sox. Losing again. It's what they do. Losing. They lose to the Yankees. They lose to the Orioles. They just lose. God. Pull it together. Okay, who's going to lose on Saturday, guys? Dricus or Israel? Who loses?
Man.
Not who wins.
I got Dricus.
You've got Dricus losing?
No, winning.
Oh, I asked you who loses, Fred. I wanted to know who loses.
What type of question is
We
that?
don't talk about winners. We talk about only the losers on this show. Who's going to be the loser on Saturday? Who are we going to make fun of for losing? Oh, man. You got Drake? I got Dricus too. AJ, who you got winning? I got Big
Actually,
Drake.
I got this. Listen, man, I got Big Drake. And the thing
Oh,
is that,
no.
listen, I've got the same thing. And
Who's
I
the
really think it's
favorite?
going to be.
I'll tell you right now.
Israel.
It is Adesanya minus 115, Big Drake minus 105. So Adesanya by a little tiny bit, but basically a pick 'em. I think that's good money on the Drake.
I
Gotta
feel
love the
Dricus has a different striking style than Strickland, but at the same time, he likes to bang also, a little bit like Strickland. He's not scared to stay in front of his opponent and trade punches and trade damage for damage. And I think the same way that Strickland caused problem to Adesanya, I think Duplessis can do the same thing to Adesanya. Maybe I'm a little bit prisoner of the moment, but the way that Strickland really like caused problems to Adesanya made me wonder, did Strickland put the blueprint out there, pressure him, be in his face?
Exactly.
And I think Dricus could do that. So I'm going with Dricus. I'm going to go Dricus, and maybe he finishes him also, like late TKO, 4th, 5th round, Dricus.
I agree with you, Fred. I think that's an absolutely accurate description of how like Israel lost, because once you take away his range, he has no striking power. When you close that gap, he has no way to really throw that kick because he's got to lean back. So that's exactly where I think Dricus is going to make a big difference. He's gonna close that gap. He's going to use his judo. He's going to use his wrestling, and he's going to keep taking him down. And if you look at Dricus' career, man, the guy's 21-2. 7-0 in the UFC.
AJ,
but if you
I'm
look
sorry.
at his overall,
I gotta stop you.
Listen, wait, let me just finish this.
You just said some egregious nonsense that I gotta just cut you off with.
No.
You said
when
Israel has no power up close.
No, I don't think he's gonna have the power to be able to defend.
You said like
defend
inside,
against the
up close, he's got no power.
He's not.
This is a guy who knocked out Alex Pereira inside with one punch.
I understand that, but once it gets into the grappling zone, it's going to be a completely different thing. He's not going to be able to throw that leg kick. He's not going to have that striking accuracy like he has. If Dricus does exactly what he did in his last match, and the same thing that Strickland did to Israel, it's going to be the same thing. And overall, man, Dricus is like a phenomenal fighter. The guy has over 80 pro boxing matches and kickboxing fights under his belt. This guy is experienced. Just because you look at that, man, I mean, this guy has everything to be able to beat Israel coming off of, he's been off for a while. And I think if you close that zone on Israel, I agree with Freddie, it's going to be a bad game. It's going to be a bad night for him. And look, he's 5 years younger. I'll give a little bit more to the edge. Okay, Israel has a longer reach. He has a 1.5 inch leg reach with his leg reach. It's not that much in my opinion, but it's that 5 years younger. He's just coming in strong. I think Dricus has it all to win this, regardless if the favorite is Israel. And it's hard for me to say that because I love Israel. I loved his game, but I think he's going to be overwhelmed on Saturday night, in my opinion.
Adesanya is 35 years old. Dricus is 30. Adesanya has been fighting as a pro in MMA since 2012, as a pro in kickboxing since 2010. Dricus started pro MMA in 2013, but he's got less miles on the body. He doesn't have all the kickboxing. He doesn't have all those big UFC championship fights, which were difficult. All that takes a toll on you. The Jan Blachowicz fight for Israel Adesanya. The Alex Pereira fights for Israel Adesanya. Jared Cannonier. A 5-round decision with Robert Whittaker. I mean, that takes a toll. 5 rounds with Yoel Romero. He's done all these things. He's been through the grind of the UFC. And I just don't see a lot of guys at 35 years old, after losing the championship to a guy everybody thought he would walk through, leaving for a year to come back, beat the new guy who beat the guy that beat him, and is also 5 years younger and on a win streak and seems pretty unstoppable himself.
Dave, I want to correct something I said. I made a mistake. I was saying Dricus. I meant Israel having over 80 fights in pro boxing and kickboxing. And I was...
that's what I thought you meant. I kind of let it slide.
I apologize on that. And that's where I was going to get with the wear and tear thing. But
I understand. And that's what I'm saying too, AJ. It's a wear and tear situation, right, man? It's wear and tear. It's Dricus. He hasn't taken the punishment that Adesanya has taken. And I'm not even just talking about the kickboxing fights. I'm talking about the championship fights in the UFC. Going 5 rounds in the octagon is no joke. It hurts. It takes a toll on your body. Preparing for it, going through it. You've seen Israel after some of these fights. He's beat up. He's hurt. He's victorious a lot of the times. But it takes a toll. And I think Jan Blachowicz showed a path for Dricus to beat Israel Adesanya. I think Dricus, like you were saying, AJ, with the grappling, Dricus is going to use some of his size, some of his mass to take Israel down and hold him, stay on top, score on position, win rounds, take the air out of Israel, take the air out of him, hurt him. You know, if he can, if he can turn up the gas, you know, turn up some heat there, and he could go. And maybe he could do damage, and maybe he puts him away, but maybe Israel's defensive enough, and he doesn't. That's fighting.
He's got 9 knockouts.
It's tough to
as well.
call. I have a tough time calling whether he's going to put him away or not, but I think Dricus is going to beat Israel Adesanya. I just don't see Israel Adesanya coming back after all he's been through, after the layoff, and winning this fight. Even though it's in his home country and all of this, and the story is nice, and man, would it be cool if he did win, right? It would be cool if he won. It would be a hell of a story.
3-time champion.
3-time champion, losing, winning. He lost it to, Pereira? Beat Pereira, got it back. Wait, so that's
then he lost it.
And then he lost it to
Strickland.
Strickland, right? So this would be the 3rd
Yep.
time, yeah. I'm like, wait, how's it? My math wasn't working there. But that would be incredible. Have we ever seen a 3-time champion in a division? Has it ever happened?
Not sure.
I don't think so. I don't think it's ever happened. I think there's maybe a reason for that. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to do. It's hard to do, and I don't think Israel Adesanya gets it done on Saturday, unfortunately. I like Israel Adesanya. I'm a fan. I think it would be very cool if he got it done. Especially in Australia, it would be great. People would go crazy. But I don't see it. And this fight, man, this is over a year in the making, right? Because it was back in April of 2023. Israel Adesanya knocked out Alex Pereira, and then that's when Dricus came into the cage, and they had that confrontation, and Dricus is saying he's the real African champion because he actually lives in Africa, and Israel hated that, and he got very mad, and there was a lot of bad blood there. And after Israel knocked out Pereira, he was supposed to fight Dricus, but then Dricus, I believe, got hurt or turned the fight down, I think, because he wasn't ready. He had just fought long before.
He fought just before, yeah.
He fought in Whitaker. July, and they wanted him to turn around and fight in September. He had beat Robert Whitaker in July, and then they wanted him to fight in September, and he wasn't ready. He had some injuries he had to deal with. He wasn't ready to turn right back around into a training camp, whereas Adesanya had fought in April, so he would have more time, right? April to September is way more time than July to September to prepare for a fight. So the UFC they tried to make it with Dricus, didn't work, so they put Strickland in there instead. Strickland beats Adesanya last September, and then Adesanya goes away for 11 months. It feels like longer, right? Because Adesanya was one of the most active champions in the UFC. It feels like he's been gone for 2 or 3 years. But it's only been, it's not even been a year. It's not even been a year.
He needed to step back.
Yeah, but it's not that long of a break. If you think about it, some champions only fight once a year.
True. That you're absolutely right.
It's not a huge break, but I don't know. But Adesanya could easily knock out Dricus du Plessis on Saturday. Easily, right? Like, do we agree on that? Like, he could totally do it. I mean, it's Israel Adesanya. We shouldn't doubt him. We shouldn't doubt him.
He's the magician, man. Exactly. Maybe the rest has done him well. He's recovered. I mean, that's why, look, he's not the favorite for no reason. I mean, there's a reason, the bookies are going with this guy, man. It's Israel, the most dangerous fighter. When we used to see him get in there, we'd be like, holy shit, it's going to be sick. And I'm sure
I don't
want to
come off too confident here in the pick of Dricus, because we're all picking Dricus and we're saying why Dricus is going to win. But there's the other side of it where That's Israel Adesanya. And I think
Yeah,
as a
let's not
striker,
forget.
he is technically far superior to than to Dricus. I think he's better. I think he's got more skills. I think he's slicker on his feet, and if he lands the right shots, he'll win.
The thing is, but it comes down to the pace because Dricus is relentless, man. When he
Yes,
gets into
I
that
agree.
fight, he doesn't stop. He's a freight train, and that's my only thing where I'm worried about Israel being off for so long because this could be the factor as it starts moving on into the second, third, fourth. This guy doesn't stop, and I'm worried about Israel at that point. Like if he doesn't have that same energy and that same cardio, it's going to be nasty. And to be honest, the game plan should be very simple. If you look at Dracus's game plan, should be what Bilal Muhammad did to Leon Edwards. You stick to that game plan, you've got the win. Just keep going nonstop.
Yeah.
But
Moving forward.
listen,
Forward
the
pressure.
magician comes. Listen, we might be all saying Saturday night, holy shit, man, Israel is back.
Mhm.
You know, at 35, the guy, like, you know, this could be Saturday night where we're all wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just that time off and the fact that this guy is a freight train who has 9 knockouts, 10 submissions. You know, he's 21-2. The guy has, you know,
It just seems like
you
his
know,
time,
he's a
right?
much
It
larger,
seems like his
bigger
time.
frame. It's like his time, man.
That's it.
You know,
That's it.
I wish Israel, you know, didn't go down like he did against Strickland. You know, I wish he would have won. And then, like, you know, he's at that age where he could have just walked away and we'd be like, you know, regardless, win or lose on Saturday, Israel is
Yeah.
still one of the greatest fighters in the UFC, you know, but it's going to be a tough one, man. You know, yeah, you're coming into Dracus's prime right now.
The prime of Dricus. Prime Dricus. 30 years old. This is the prime of the middleweight champion of the world. Dricus du Plessis from South Africa. And let me get into the parlays in a minute. But before we do, I need to tell you about our friends over at X Marshall. The roar of the crowd thrums in your ears, and the lights seem impossibly bright. You stand in the octagon, the center of a universe focused on one thing: combat. Unlike a gladiator of old, you're not limited to a single weapon. In the ever-evolving world of MMA, success hinges on mastering a diverse arsenal, striking, takedowns, ground control, and submissions. But where do you begin? Fear not, aspiring fighter. X Marshall is your corner man. Inspired by legends like Khabib Nurmagomedov, our gear is designed to withstand the most intensive training regimens, from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling to MMA. Made with a quality mixture of materials, our products feature reinforced seams with double flat lock stitching and gel panel technologies for maximum comfort. We provide high-quality rash guards and cost-effective gear and services. X Marshall stands out as the flashiest and fastest-growing brand in the jiu-jitsu community. People wanted cool gear, and X Marshall delivered with style and swankiness that made everyone go, wow. With 300 sponsored athletes and tens of thousands of dollars in gear and cash giveaways, X Marshall reinvests a healthy chunk of its profits back into the community that fueled its growth. Check out the Dojo Roadshow, where the X Marshall team travels the U.S. in an RV, visiting gyms, taking on challenges, and hanging out with jiu-jitsu legends. They meet athletes, have challenges, and sponsor them along the way. It's not just gear, it's a movement. Buckle up and roll with X Marshall right now. You get 15% off the entire store at xmarshall.com using the code RINGSIDE at checkout. Stand bold, stand out, X Marshall. And guys, we are back. And
Wow, man,
we
that's
have
cool.
the UFC
Which I just
305 parlay to get to from our friends over at bet99.ringsidereport.net, bet99.ringsidereport.net, using that promo code RINGSIDE. As well, sign up at our link over at bet99.ringsidereport.net. What a
I
busy
like
show
that
we
gear,
have.
Dave. Man, it's really nice stuff, man. The gel technology and all that kind of stuff, the look. We need to be like wearing X Marshall on the show.
We can make it happen. Things
Make
are
it
in
happen,
motion
David.
for you, AJ. Don't you worry.
But it's really nice stuff. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? We have an
I was born
undercard
ready,
here.
dude. Let's go.
That's pretty good. The co-main event is a flyweight fight between New Zealander Kai Kara France and Australian Steve Erceg. So it is Australia versus New Zealand classic matchup, and they'll be doing battle at 125. Two of the top 125ers in the world today. Erceg coming off the title shot over Pantoja. Kai Kara France looking to get a win here and maybe even get himself a title shot. So a big fight in the co-main event. Erceg minus 170 the favorite. Kai Kara France plus 145 the underdog. Seems about right to me.
Steve Erceg Carell, man. What a great fighter. Doesn't look it at all.
Should he be such a favorite, man? I feel this fight is closer than that.
Well, you know what the problem is, Freddie? Kai Kara France has been off for 437 days. That's the problem. And you have a guy like Steve Erceg who has like superior striking when it comes down to it. The guy is, every time you see him, you're like, oh man, this guy looks like a geek. But he delivers, man. He's 12-2, but it's a layoff.
You're
for
thinking
Kai
of
Kara
Steve
France,
Urkel,
man.
the geek, AJ. You're thinking.
No,
of
I'm talking about Steve Carell, man. He looks like Steve Carell.
He does not.
From The Office.
He says he looks like Michael Scott.
Who does?
Yeah, Michael Scott, man. Steve Erceg.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like Michael Scott.
He does.
I know who Steve Carell is. I'm saying he doesn't look like him.
Looks like him.
Okay, so you think he's going to win? Kai Kara France coming off 2 straight losses. He's been inactive for a while. About a year and a bit. I don't know.
I'm going to pick Erceg, but I'm
437 days.
I'm not putting him on my parlay, though. I got Erceg, but odds are not enticing.
Okay.
Odds are.
I agree. I don't love it. What is on your parlay, Fred? Let me do it. Let's see. Let's see what we have.
Well, I'm gonna put an even bigger favorite on my parlay, but that's because I feel he's gonna win, man. I got Gamrot. I think Gamrot is a guaranteed win, and I'm gonna parlay him with Duplessis, man. My parlay is gonna be simple: 2-fight parlay. I feel pretty confident in both fights.
Yeah, that's a very solid parlay. I can't argue with that. That's mostly my parlay. I like it a lot. It's good. I'm going to add a fight to my parlay to spice mine up so it's not identical to Fred's, but that's, pretty much what I was thinking there, Fred. Pretty good. Pretty good. So it's Dricus and the Gam. 20 at plus 153 will get you 50-53 over at bet99.com. How about that? That's a Team Fred parlay. It's a 2-fight parlay. Dricus and Mateusz Gamrot. And before we get to AJ's ridiculous parlay, that I'm sure it will be, I know it'll be completely bananas, AJ. We're going to have like 10 fights on it. I'm going to give you the Team Dave 3-fight parlay, which will be eerily similar to Fred's, but I'm just going to add a fight on it to spice things up and make it a little different. But, yeah, I think the favorites are coming through on Saturday. I'm going with the Dreek in the main event, Dricus Duplessis. I'm going with Jairzinho Rosenstrike over Taito Ivasa. I've not liked what I've seen from Taito Ivasa in his past few fights. And I think Jairzinho is just a sharper, crisper striker who's going to score the knockout. Ty seems lost out there in the past couple fights. Gamrot, minus 340. I'm going with the Gam as well. It's a 3-fight parlay. It's basically Fred's, but I'm adding Jairzinho. Biggie Boy, plus 265, though. 20 gets you $72.99 over at bet99.com. It's a 3-fight Team Dave parlay. Biggie Boy, Jairzinho, Dricus Duplessis, the champ, and Mateusz, the Gamrot. AJ, what do you think? You like it?
On the prelims, I pick every underdog to win.
Oh, that's AI, AJ. Thank you, AJ. That's
I like parlay. He's got a point, that crazy AJ. But I'm going to tell you something. I like the Gammy. You guys are right on the Gammy, but I'm going to start my night off with...
Fred, hold on. I want to hear Fred's evaluation of my parlay. Fred, what do you think? You like it?
I do, but look, Jairzinho should beat Tai Tuivasa. I'm just like a little off the bandwagon of Jarzinho. So like, yeah, I expect him to win, but I don't also like some. I wouldn't be surprised if he loses sometimes. Some fights we expect him to win, but yeah, no, you got a good parlay there. Extra $20 in your pockets, man.
Why not? Let's go for it. Okay, thank you for the evaluation, Fred. I needed to know what Fred thought about the parlay. AJ, I think you like it. Do you like my parlay? You like Dricus?
Yeah, I think.
You like Gamrot?
Look,
You like Jarzinho? You don't like Jarzinho.
you know what? No, I do like Jarzinho. I think Jarzinho has the biggest hands in the UFC every time he
Don't
fights.
be a
I mean,
pendejo, bro. Stop talking
listen,
about his
Taito
hand
Ivaza
size,
has lost
bro.
by knockout.
I'm gonna
in
start
his-
talking about hand size, and you're gonna get real mad, AJ. You know who's got small hands, AJ? Not like Jarzinho.
Jarzinhos are monsters, man. That's like a T-Rex hand. But let me tell you, man,
Your president's got
Taito
baby
Ivaza-
hands, bro.
Listen, Taito Ivaza, man, his recent losses by knockout, he's like questionable with with his defense. I think Jarzinho is gonna win this by KO. Someone's going down, and I think unfortunately it's gonna be a good old tie, man.
Cool. There
But
you go.
I'm not
Give me
gonna
your
start
parlay
off-
though. What do you
Listen,
have?
I'm starting off the night with Carlo Paradis over Li Jing Liang as I always like Jing Liang, but the problem is that he's been off for 703 days, man. You know, Pratt's aggressive. He's got like great power, man. And I think that layoff is probably coming to the end of Ding Dong Lee. So I'm gonna go with Carlo Prats.
What?
Then I'm going to go with Jarzinho as you chose. I agree with that. I'm going to go with Gamrot. I think that's a pretty solid win for Gamrot because Daniel Hooker, man, his his grappling defense is not great. And you're going up against like Gamrot, who's a submission specialist. Forget it. Then I'm going to go with Steve Urseg, Carell. Steve Urseg Carell. But I think he's going to be able to lay it on Kai Kara, who's off for 437 days, like you said. And then listen to this. I started the day or the night with Dricus. But after like listening to you guys, and then I saw DJ Bourne come on, and then I realized again, Anthony, come back to reality. It's Israel.
What?
I'm telling you, it hit me while you guys were talking, and I'm like, don't be crazy, dude. Let's not forget who's going in there. He had a bad fight with Strickland.
You
It went to
switched
the
up last minute. That's so
I did. I'm telling you, my
Oh,
spider
yeah,
sense told me.
now?
Yeah.
My spider sense said to go with Israel, man. I'm telling you, I had that feeling in my all week, and I was trying to find a reason why Dricus is gonna win, which he has all the tools for him to win. But I gotta remember, it's Israel. And that's what when I started saying the magician and this and that, man, because when you were talking about like his experience and if he gets into that zone where he's able to move like he does and able to throw those counters, I'm telling you, Dricus is gonna have a hard time because I think he studied enough the tapes with Strickland not to do the same mistake that he's gonna do against Dricus. And I'm telling you, man. All week, man, it's been Dricus. I have it all written down. But after you guys were talking and I've been looking and thinking, I was like, no, man, I'm going with Israel.
Wow. Despite being outnumbered, AJ standing up for Israel. What an admirable man standing up for Israel. Adesanya here. Adesanya is who I was talking about. So it's a 5-fight parlay from Mr. AJ Delesio.
And he'll make history if he wins it, Dave.
Yes, he will. It'll be very historic. It'll be very impressive, and I'll be amazed. It'll be great. So here's AJ's parlay. It is Jarzinho, Biggie Boy, Israel Adesanya, Carlos Pratis, Mateusz Gamrot from Poland, and Steve Urseg from Family Matters. $20 gets you $142.73 over at bet99.com.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Steve Urseg is from Australia, not Family Matters, just so we're clear. That's
The Office.
Stefan Urseg. He's from Family Matters.
Really?
Man, what? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, dude. I think we should wrap up. I don't even know, man. Trying to take pictures of your parlay so I could send it to you and you can make a graphic. So when we do our watch along this Saturday, You can't lie about who you actually picked and who you didn't
Listen,
pick.
man. Listen.
You tend to make up stories. I picked him.
Man.
No
it was almost
the
like
documents.
seeing a ray of light, and I was like looking up, and I'm like, you got to be crazy. It's Israel. That's it, man. That was enough for me to say it's done.
Okay,
Maybe
thank you,
the layoff-
Antoinette. Shout out to Antoinette who dropped a gifted membership tonight through Silent by Deadly. Hello, Antoinette. Antoinette saying, AJ, is that Elf on a Shelf? It's a little too early for that. Yeah, it's not Christmas, AJ. Angelo Contagonis in the chat. What's up, Angelo? Leor in the chat as well. Johnny North wrestling for the British Commonwealth Championship this
Johnny's got to win it, man.
He'll be winning next weekend. Next week, I think.
Hey, am I cornering you? Johnny?
Yeah,
It's in Sept-Îles.
Sept-Îles. That's
I have a
7
lot of free
islands for
time
those that
sometimes.
don't. DJ
Perceptus
Bourne going
Island.
with Israel Adesanya. Antoinette going with Israel Adesanya.
Whoa.
Angelo wants to know, what about the war of words between Dana and McGregor? What war of words between Dana and McGregor?
What?
I didn't see any war
I missed
of
that
words.
one.
I
Well,
didn't
we
see
saw
that.
last week with Connor and the Hells Angels guys.
What?
Well, remember the bikers that he was with? And the girl was like twerking
That
and all
was
that
not
kind of stuff?
necessarily Hells Angels. Just because they're on motorcycles and they're wearing leather doesn't mean they're Hells Angels. They could be just a bunch of gays. Just a bunch of muscly gay guys. They love that.
Nah, man, there was no
stuff.
ass chaps over there, man. It was like all bikers,
Oh,
man.
I really hope they're not Hells Angels because they'll be mad at us.
Yeah, like, listen, man. I got no problems with the 81. Just letting you know, AJ is okay with that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, some of those dudes, like, you know, they like to dress up in the motorcycle outfits, and if you see a big crowd of them, sometimes you go, whoa, what's going on? Is that a motorcycle convention? Oh, no, wait, that's some dudes that are, it's all men there that are having a good time.
Vito.
No.
Vito Spatafore.
Yeah, Vito, exactly. Yeah, like Vito. That's right, Vito in Sopranos. He was in a motorcycle outfit. He was like this, you know? You
The
love it.
medication, man. It's the medication. Man.
Yeah, right. Oh, Vito. Rest in peace. We will miss you. Hey, you know, it's Avon Barksdale's birthday today. He's the same age as AJ.
Happy birthday, Avon.
Happy birthday. What a great gangster.
Avon.
Are you Team Avon
I
or
know
Team
Avon.
Stringer, Fred?
Avon. My mom used to sell Avon.
That's
What are you
not the
talking
right
about?
question. The right question is if I'm Team Avon or Team Marlowe, and I'm Team Barksdale all day.
Well, yeah, that's
Fuck
not even a
Marlo.
question. No, that's not a question because obviously you don't want to be with Marlo Stanfield. That guy was a monster. I'm
Fuck
saying,
Marlowe.
are you Team Avon or are you Team Stringer? Because in the end, spoiler, they did each other.
mean,
You know, like
Avon
Stringer
did what he had
sent
to do, man.
Stringer sent Avon to jail, and Avon had Stringer murdered. But I think Avon. I'm with Avon. I think Avon was right all along. But
Yeah.
Stringer was right too. I don't know. It's tough. I liked Avon though.
What? What the hell's going on? I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Exactly.
Is it a
Avon
Netflix
Barksdale?
series? What are you talking about?
Omar Little. Nothing.
McNulty.
McNulty.
Nick
You don't know
Nolte. I
about-
know Nick Nolte.
Not Nick Nolte. Jimmy McNulty, bro. How about Lieutenant Daniels? AJ doesn't know what we're talking about. AJ, you
Tina?
never seen The Wire? You don't watch anything, eh? You're not up on anything. I don't think AJ would understand The Wire. I think he'd be one of those guys who'd be like, I don't get it.
What's it
I don't know
about?
what's
So
going
good.
on.
The
Is it a
Wire's so
Netflix
good.
thing?
Yeah,
HBO.
it's great. HBO show. You know, Fred, like The Wire was so big, man. It got so big. It's big now, you know? But like I watched it when it first came on TV. It was just a new show on HBO. And I swear I would watch this show and I would come on the radio and I'd be like, is anybody watching this? This show's amazing. And no one was watching it. No one knew what the hell I was talking about. And it was years and years where I was like, yo, it's season 3. I'm watching season 3 and it's happening every week and it's incredible. And I'm like, no one I can ever meet ever anywhere is watching this show. And I'm like, what is going on? And then it wasn't until season 5, the last season when it was about to start, where people were like, oh, you heard about this show, The Wire? And it got really popular all of a sudden, and people were talking about it. And I was like, where have you people been? It was really weird. I never had an experience watching a TV show like that ever. It was very strange because I was like, because this is great. Am I the only one here? And then all of a sudden, it just exploded like at the end. And now,
Yeah,
like
I
it's
can
bigger
understand.
now. It's more popular now than it was when it was on TV, you know?
I can understand. That was like me with Arrested Development, man. I was the only one watching it. Now I used to say it, and nobody knew what the hell that show was.
I still don't know what it is.
Really?
It's the
Good
best.
night.
One of the greatest, greatest.
You've
TV
never seen
shows.
Arrested Development, Fred? That's on Netflix. You should watch that. It's good.
It's amazing, man. It's up there with Seinfeld, man.
I've been watching news radio with my wife on Prime.
Fred said
Pretty
No,
funny,
it kills,
actually.
It kills.
Phil Hartman is hilarious also
Yeah.
in that one.
He's great.
Didn't he get murdered?
Yes.
Yeah, by his wife.
See what happens with marriage.
She shot him. Pow.
Yeah.
Mm.
We can't end on that,
Sad,
man.
man.
He was the voice of Troy McClure in The Simpsons, too. Phil Hartman was great.
Yeah, he's the
Phil
best,
Hartman
man.
was super good. Yeah. God
Do his voice, Dave. Do his voice.
UFC 305 coming up Saturday night. We're going to be watching the fights here with you on the Ringside Report Network. Patrick C. Hamilton says he hasn't made his picks yet for Saturday. Dropping the super chat. Thank you, Patrick. Super chat.
Go with
leader of the
AJ.
night right now. There he is. Haven't made his picks yet. I mean, Freddie and I going with Dreekus. Dreekus is a slight underdog, basically a pick him in the main event. AJ going with Adesanya at a sudden change of heart at the end of the show, even though if you watch the beginning of the show, he's given you lots of reasons why he thinks Dreekus is winning, and he did pick Dreekus. I wonder what he's going to say on Saturday when there's a winner. Is he going to say, I told you?
You
know
know
what I mean?
exactly. I'm telling you, you read my mind, man.
Is he just hedging his bets right now, Fred?
Probably.
God damn, AJ. Well, officially,
I'm telling
AJ,
you.
you're picking Adesanya, okay?
I am. I'm not changing that. I'm
Okay.
telling you, off on the shelf. Maybe something went into me that said, "Go with Israel." It was a divine moment, dude.
It happens. Okay, we'll talk again Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time for the UFC 305 watch-along. And, of course, I'll be back here for sure tomorrow night with my main man, Johnny Nork, to talk professional wrestling, 10 p.m. Eastern time, right after SmackDown Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night, right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.